Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. In today's episode, we'll be taking on our promotional rivals Norwich. Except they're not really promotional rivals. I thought we were the worst, underperformers of the season so far. As you can tell, the board are a bit unhappy with the competition's performance, which they should be. We're in 13th place, but I mean the gap from sixth place isn't too much, just 4 points. But yeah, Norwich are battling to avoid the relegation zone, even though they're just 7 points behind us. So the whole league has been pretty tight. We're only 8 points off the top. So we just have to put a string of wins together, and then we should be able to easily get into the promotional spot. In terms of what's been happening since we last spoke, it seems that we've been doing worse in the live comms than actual games. Seems like whenever I record, my team does horribly, but we're in a bit of a better form now. We had a tough game against Blackburn. They were fifth at the time, so we really needed the win to try and get into promotional spots. Also, just to close the gap in terms of points. IU was as important as ever, getting us the 2 goals. 83rd minute winner. Uh, you know, he's just been so important for us. And it was a real morale booster and a good win. The game against Brighton, they were the team in fifth this time. By the time this round of fixtures came, uh, they scored through a freak goal. One of those long range ones that you can't really do much about, and a set piece. So that was a bit disappointing. But my team came roaring back. Um, Really should have won the game considering they scored in the last 10 minutes. Should really be seeing out the game at that point. But it was a great team performance. In the end of the day, it was a tough game, so probably getting a draw was a bit fair, but really should be winning this game. We really needed to win that, especially since just to close the gap again on the promotional spots. The game against Cardiff, another good win. IU there again, getting 2 goals. Yeah, I think he's on. Sorry about that. I think he's on 20 goals now. Let me see if I can get the stats. Yeah, he's on 19 goals in the league, but I think he's got more in other competitions. Rudy's also been crucial for us getting the highest assist in the league. As you can see, Jordan Ayew getting the, drawn in second place with the 5 man of the match performances. In terms of Ayew, how many goals he scored? Scored 20, yeah, in total, but 19 in the league. Um, so he has been a really, really important for us, which is why it was a bit disappointing for him to get injured. Can't remember what game he got injured in. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was just probably after the Leeds game. I mean, that was the last game he's played in. Anyways, in terms of the Cardiff game, how it went, we started really brightly. They were lower in the division than us, so we really were expecting to win, and we did win. Uh, Quite comfortably. It should have been 3-0. Really shouldn't be conceding to Ricky Lambert. But again, we have the issue of leaking in goals, as you can see here, just consistently. Last time we had a clean sheet was 2 months back. So we really need to try and tighten up our defense a bit more. I'm hoping to play a bit less of a rotated side, and hopefully that should help our defensive game a bit more. It's a good 3-1 win. 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes from IU. Pretty much a easy win. Against Leeds, however, actually sorry that I got a bit of an update. The board gave me a bit more of a budget because of how well I've treated the finances. It actually was 15 million, but I've drawn it all the way back to the end again, so it's only 4 million. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. When you move it all the way to the left, and you still get ends up with the transfer budget, the board become incredibly happy about your club finances, the management of it, 100%. They'll keep investing because of how well we're taking care of the club finances. Eventually, we'll have plenty of money, and that I can seriously invest in the squad, especially since we need 2 left backs because both of the ones we've currently got are on loan, so we really need the left backs. I'm hoping maybe some of the youngsters can step up, or we'll just probably have to buy some. Anyways, the game against Leeds, they were in 14th at the time. It was a tough game, but we really needed the 3 points as we were 10 points off the top. Played horribly in the opening 30 minutes, but we came back from 2-0 down. Actually, no, that's not this game. Sorry about that. But we did come back actually. Um, but yeah, it was just pretty much a horrible performance. Despite them getting someone sent off, we couldn't go on to get the draw, and yeah, I mean, it was quite disappointing to lose this game. We needed to win them to climb up the table. Uh, when we conceded, the whole game just went downhill. Pretty much unlucky because we just about had the same amount of clear-cut chances. Let me see if I can show you guys over here. So yeah, 2-2 in terms of clear-cut chances and 2-2 in terms of half chances, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. The game against it left us in a bad position, but thankfully the game against Wigan we bounced back. They were in fourth. It was a tough game, but yeah, we needed the 3 points, and we did play horribly for the first 30 minutes. This is the game that I was talking about earlier. We conceded, 2 goals in a minute basically, and but thankfully we did come back from 2-0 down. We played better on the counter than we did attacking, and that's when we ended up going up 3-2 up and then even 4-2 up, and they ended up scoring in the 80th minute, which made it 4-3. A bit of a tight end. We had to go on, had to change the roles to defend duties and support duties to try and see out the game. Had to go on to contain in the last 5 minutes. It was pretty much equal in terms of the clear-cut chances as well, and it was a great win. It wasn't too nice that towards the end I had to make some substitutions because of how tired the players were, and those substitutions were, the younger players that we really can't be relying on, like Jack Clark, who made his debut, and Oliver McBurney coming on for Rudy. Uh, Jonathan Kodjia, I've trusted him a bit more now, considering that Ayew got sent off. I told him I criticised his recent form. He got really happy that I showed my faith in him, and he ended up scoring a hat trick for us. He hasn't played bad for us at all. His average rating is just 6.9, but in terms of his statistics, he's got eight in his 8 starts. 6 goals. He's 7 appearances off the bench, so you can't really blame him. He hasn't really had much of a chance, but he's going to have a chance for us here today. In terms of who's going to start first today in the game against Norwich, let me just show you this screen. It's a bit better. Golini is in goal, just as always. Richie Delata and Tyrone Mings are going to be our fullbacks. Alan Hutton had a bad game for us last game. His average rating's been poor as well, but to be fair to him, his match sharpness isn't too great. So I kind of expected him to have a bad performance, but what can we do? James Chester and Tommy Elphick will be our centre-back pairings. That's because Rich has got not sent off actually. He got injured. I don't think he'll be out for long. Just 6 to 8 days. Unfortunately for him, even though he had a good game last time out against. I forgot what the team was. Let me see here. Yeah, just last game against Wigan. Even though we conceded 3, he still had a good rating, so he did have a good game. But unfortunately for him, he got injured. Nathan Baker would have played as well, but he's a bit low on fitness. I don't like playing anyone under than 92%, so I've brought in James Chester, Tommy Elphick. Hopefully that won't backfire on us. Adoma in the right wing for us, as well as Amavi on the opposite flank. Both these players have been playing, quite fantastically for us on the wings. They've kept, Jack Grealish on the bench and Bakuna out completely. He's unhappy because of his game time and stuff. Actually, it says manager's decision making, but he hasn't really performed well enough. Adoma's been the one who's our better right winger, so he's going to play. Jednak, as always, one of the best box-to-box midfielders we've been having. He's been performing better than the now injured Gary Gardner. Ross McCormack's going to come in for Westwood, who had the bad game last time out. Hopefully Ross, is getting more used to the deep line playmaker role, even though he's normally advanced, an attacking midfielder or even a striker. But he's doing well for us now as a deep line playmaker. The only bad thing about him is his positioning. He's too old to actually improve that stat, but for now we need someone in that position, so he's going to come in there. Kodjia comes in as a poacher, just because of recent performances. Rudy's been up, one of the best players in this season so far. He's going to perform as the club's target man. He's really improved the squad massively. whenever he plays, we seem to win. And you know, you can tell his goals aren't amazing, but his assist is what we really need because he's a target man on support duty. We don't really expect him to, you know, do the same things as a target man on attack duty. We're not too worried about his finishing or anything like that. It's more about trying to play in his fellow striker, and he does that fantastically. I mean, look at his stats for the crucial attributes: jumping, reach, strength, and heading, all at 17. So he does that fantastically well for us. Passing a bit, you know, not too happy about passing in first touch, but everything else is decent. Aggression especially is great, and bravery as well. You really need those kind of stats and attributes in the target man, and he's got it all. He improves the team massively. You play much better when he's in the side, so we're going to play with him as well in today's game against Norwich. We're the away team, really need the win. Try and make as much of a gap as possible between the teams, you know, lower than us, and try and climb up the table at the same time. If we get 31 points, hopefully some of these teams drop points, then we can climb up the table. If, you know, the ideal situation is all of them drop points, then it means we'll be in 7th place. Won't be too shabby considering how the season has gone so far. 20 games in, only 28 points. That's not, you know, not good performances at all. But you could say the same about every other team in this division. It's been 20 games, and the highest teams only got 36 points. You know, 9 draws. So it's incredible, really. It seems like the teams who do well, like, you know, if you really want to do well in this championship, you need to be turning these draws into wins. And, you know, you really put some distance between yourselves. It's only Newcastle have only got 1 draw out of, you know, the top 3. And that's because of how many losses they've had. In terms of the odds, apparently Norwich are favourites, even though they're lower than us. A defeat for them could, you know, slide them into relegation zone. A win for us can move us up to 7th, as it says here. But definitely should be going for the win. They're going to be playing with a 3-man midfield, so they'll probably dominate possession. Stephen Naismith is the, you know, the former Everton man, I think. Yeah, Everton man. He's going to be the man up front. I think he's quite old, so it means he shouldn't be, 30 years old. He shouldn't be pacey. More suited to, you know, playing as an advanced forward rather than a target man. So we might have to play a little deep line, but I won't make any changes, of course, just now. It's too early for that. Pace is decent, but we really should be able to deal with him. Winger's probably pacey as well. That's to be expected. Yep, acceleration pace is there from Jacob Murphy, and Robbie Brady definitely as well. But yeah, we're just going to have to trust my players, see if they can deal with how it's gone. I'm just going to tell them to pick off, just like my assistants tell me, just pick off from the last game, carry on from, you know, the last match, because that was a great win. And yeah, we need the 3 points today, we really do. I switched back to extended highlights because I like to see the game a bit more. I don't know about you guys. Just let me know in the comment section below if you've got any, you know, points about that. I'll put the replays on goals and camera on close. And let's start off today's game. We'll be the ones with the, you know, the first feel of the ball. Richie there just losing the ball immediately. Tried to play a horrible pass to Rudy, but it didn't work at all. Even Golini's given the ball away. But it's expected. I mean, it really is. We're not the kind of team to hold on to possession. We're more about being direct, hitting teams on the counter, you know, running at our man, just complete gung-ho football, really. Really did decently there to header the ball down. Unfortunately, it just didn't get into Kodjia's path. Otherwise, I would have backed him to, you know, put it away, unfortunately for us. By the way, I just wanted to apologize for the last episode. I was coughing a lot. Got a bit of an illness lately. But yeah, I was determined to record a video and just show you guys the progress. Hopefully the coughing wasn't, you know, too loud or anything like that. I'm still a bit sick now, as you could probably tell, but, you know, just have to get it done. Can't wait until the illness goes away. That's going to be, you know, too far down the line. Try and record an episode a day. Anyways, we've got the ball now with Adoma. Hopefully he can find his striker. He can't. Instead he gives the ball away to Hydra to bring the ball forward for Norwich. And Chester there with a good, you know, tackle covering for his fullback. Norwich are bringing the ball forward now, playing a dangerous cross into the middle. Brady's got the ball, and Richie does well there to just clear it, get away as far as possible from the box. And that's really what we need. If he puts in some decent performances, he can really nail down that right back spot. Him and Hutton are really fighting for it. But I'm expecting Richie to win that battle, and he really needs to show a good performance today. Kodji with the ball now. Just a bit isolated, our strikers, I guess. It looks like we're playing a bit deep, even though I don't have it set on deep. As you can see here, they only have 2 men behind, so we could really hit them on the counter. But I'm just going to leave it as is now and see how the game progresses. Have to show a little bit of faith in your players. It's only been 10 minutes. You have to trust them to know how to make some, decision making and things like that. Even though technically my squad doesn't have the best decision making. But really, I'm expecting them to win today's game, even though the odds are against us. Average rating around the team's not bad at all, 6.8. No one's having an amazing game, but Kodji now changing that. Richie's perfect, ball into the box. I was just talking about how he needs to nail down the right back spot, and if he keeps doing that, it'll definitely be his. Kodji got a good goal for us, a poacher's goal. Exactly why we're playing him in that position, in that role actually, sorry, not position. Even though my assistant manager says, he's most suited for a complete forward role. And that's exactly why you should make your own decisions, not always listen to your assistant. But yeah, look at that for a ball. Kodji, proper poacher's finish. And we're now 1-0 up in 15 minutes. This is exactly what I was talking about, trusting your players' decisions to make their own decisions during the game. You don't always have to consistently change tactics. I know during live comps I've changed it quite often, but I've learned, the hard way, not to just always change tactics during the game. You have to trust them a little bit, even if you go 1-0 down. Normally, as a rule of thumb, I have, I've only start trying to make a couple of changes. I won't even make a lot, and that's only when the team's gone 2-0 down. That would be, a clear sign that something's wrong if you go 2-0 down. Then again, if you've gone 2-0 down because of 2 set pieces or 2 free kicks or something like that. Actually, free kicks are set pieces. I don't know what I'm talking about. Or 2 free goals is what I meant. One of those outside the box bangers. Can't really do much about that. So sometimes you just have to trust that your team will come back. Scream at them at half time. Tell them that you have faith in them as well, just so you don't, just completely. Oh, Mings should have headed that in, man. He had a good chance there. Both teams have one clear-cut chance. We've had the less shots. Might have to tell my team to switch it to a bit more attacking. I'm not too pleased that we've only had 2 shots while they've had 8. Then again, out of that 8, they've only had 2 on target. So it seems like we're marshalling them well, but I want to be doing a bit better in the final third. They only have their 2 centre backs back, so we should really be, testing them since we have 2 men up front. It does seem like we're best on the counter, but again, just have to trust the team. It's 30 minutes in, we're 1-0 up. No reason to make any changes just yet. And Adoma brings the ball forward here, goes past his man. And if his cross was a bit better, Kodji would definitely been on the end of that. He would have scored his 5th goal in 2 games, as he got a hat-trick in the last one against Wigan. Really making the difference for us in a 4-3 win. So, yeah, so far so good. No one really having a terrible game. Tyrone Mings and Adoma being a bit quiet here, but nothing too bad. Rudy seems to be getting tired a little early. McCormack can normally do a bit better there from set pieces, so I'm expecting a bit more. Ooh, and he did put in a really good ball there. Unfortunately, his teammates couldn't capitalise on that, and Norwich clear that to safety. Giving the ball away from a throw in there, that's never pleasing. Naismith heads it on, but he's got no one there. It's great from us, marshalling him perfectly well. He hasn't had a good game at all. Richie having a good game. Gets through to Kodji. Kodji, just run at your man. Finds his target man though. Back to McCormack, who's our deep lying playmaker. Can he find someone? Find Yannak. Not really a... Oh, Kodji. Oh. Sorry, whenever something good happens, I sort of just freeze for a moment and don't know what to say. But yeah, Kodji had a bit of a good chance there. Unfortunately, it was a tight angle, so you couldn't really expect much. Keeper did well to save. But yeah, McCormack really needs to put in those key passes, and he's had a decent game so far. But if he wants to stamp his authority on that position, he needs to put in better performances. Considering he was complaining to me about not having game time. Um, Normally, I would tell the players they're doing well so far because they have been, but McCormack's looking complacent, which I'm not a fan of. Once someone looks complacent, I feel like I should be telling the whole team not to get complacent because that sort of rubs off. I'm not sure why Ross feels complacent when it's only been, one goal. So they responded well there. They seemed focused. Norwich sticking to their 4-3-3, thinking maybe they can still get something from this game, but really should be much better defensively and just hold on. Should get a second, the consolation goal. Not consolation, sorry, insurance goal. That's the name for it. We need that insurance goal to make sure that we have a good cushion on the team above us. Um, not the team above us. God, I'm thicker. I'm sicker than I thought. Not thicker. um, yeah, we need the insurance goal just so we can make sure we win this game. So far, so good though. And Elphick had a free header there that was a clear-cut chance, as you can see. See, I didn't have to change, the mentality at all. We're still on standard, but we've managed to really up our shots. Thank God they just missed that free header there themselves. So yeah, sometimes you just have to give it things on Football Manager some time, and things will click eventually. Lately, we've been performing much better than we have, in earlier episodes. I'm glad to see that sort of change in form. Um, I don't mind missing the target there, but we do look somewhat dangerous on set pieces, which is probably what the reason for that is probably because I've set the pre-match tactics on, you know, uh, attacking set pieces, and thank God that only hit the bar. Norwich looking a bit more dangerous recently. Brady hitting the crossbar there, thankfully just the crossbar and it doesn't go in. He's had another shot there and Galini does well just to turn it round. Preferably should have held on to that, but really we've been the better team in terms of clear-cut chances and half chances, but it won't matter if Norwich draw with us now, and they seem determined to do so. Still sticking to their 4-3-3. McCormack with a set piece here. Let's see if he can. He couldn't put that in, but we're looking better in terms of set pieces. Just going to pause the game here, see if there's anyone tired. Jednak a bit tired here. Adoma not having a great game. Might have to make some changes. Rudy also tired. I think I'll take off Rudy as well as, even though I'm not a fan of it, I wish you could keep him on, but he's tired. It was only 2 days rest between the last game. Richie having an incredible game for us so far. He's the man of the match. I think I'll just take off Rudy and Rudy and who did I say? Rudy and Adoma probably. We'll give Oliver a bit of a chance. Hopefully he can perform well for us. Bring on Grealish. Not too much fitness, but um, you know, still needs to perform for us. Normally I would set players on playing on under 23s and stuff, but it just seems like there's no appropriate time to really be playing these players. We're on 2 attacking changes, so we really should be scoring our insurance goal now. Yednak's fitness is depleting by the second, so I really want to score a second so I can bring on another youngster for the team who made his debut in the last game. I forgot what his name was. Yeah, Norwich looked dangerous on the counter here. Thankfully, Galini deals with it. And we need to hold on for about 24 minutes, so that's not too pleasing. Galini just gave the ball away now. McCormack actually wins it back for us. Amavi up to McBurney, but McBurney couldn't do anything about that. It was just a poor ball. Brady is the most dangerous player for Norwich, and he's played in his fullback. We really need to shut down shop here. But I won't switch, tactics just yet. I think I'm just going to have to take off Jednak now. He's on 69%, so if I don't, it might end up costing us. He might get injured, something like that. It's the 70th minute now, so it's not too far from final whistle. Let's just see how this highlight goes. Hopefully it goes in our favour instead of theirs, but they do look dangerous here. Can we deal with it though? Housen has... Housen I think it is. A bit of a poor shot on goal. Just going to quickly make that Jednak change. I normally don't like making that sort of change now, but yeah, it is Jack Clark who made his debut in the last game. Let me just quickly tell him I have a bit of faith in him. Hopefully, you know, it helps his mood. Does look happy as it says there. And hopefully playing these youngsters, Oliver and Jack, won't cost us. Naismith, though, proves that it will cost us. Gonna have to switch to attacking mode now. And see whether my team can respond. We held on to our lead well for a good amount of time, but we never scored an insurance goal, and it's cost us. And again, our leaky defense. And Naismith gets in behind us to score his goal. He really doesn't have that much pace. Shouldn't be making sense that he's getting in behind us. Probably has good off the ball set piece here though, but Galini goes with Galini goes with it. Galini deals with it, and they have another set piece here. I'm not sure what just happened there, but apparently it's gone over the bar. 10 minutes left. I think I'm going to switch, tell the players to, switch everyone's roles to a bit more attacking. Hopefully we can score in the last 10 minutes. As soon as it becomes last 5 minutes, I'll switch to overload. What's McCormack there? Thankfully it's just a warning. I thought it was a bad tackle, but just a warning. Norwich with the ball here though, and they're throwing all their men forward, as you can tell, but Mings wins the ball well, only just to give it away. Thompson with the ball now, finds Malumbu, who finds Tetri. Mings wins the ball again. He's playing well so far. But McCormack, who's our deep line playmaker, just playing a horrible ball out there. I think he just tried to clear it, and now he's given it a bit away, and now Naismith has the ball. Thankfully, doesn't do well there. Might have to switch my team into, playing deeper. Gonna switch to overload now and see if it helps. Tyrone Mings, just a 6.2, probably at fault for the goal, which is why he's, had that. Just 3 more minutes left now, so I think I'll just make some changes and see if that'll help us. Pass into space and hit early crosses. They did seem to be playing a high line. Just going to go a bit deeper to deal with the, this Naismith threat. Let's see if we can get anything from this game. But a draw is really not the ideal result at all. We needed all 3 points. And if Norwich score here now, which they have a chance to through a set piece because Amavi get fouled as, his opponent, it would not be nice to lose in the last minute here, especially since we scored early first. Look, they've had a better second half, I guess. Looks like me telling the players to be, not be complacent hasn't helped at all. Thompson with the ball here. McCormack deals with it. Let me see if I can encourage the players. Try and get them to somehow score a goal in the next 30 seconds. Maybe we can hit them on the counter. Kodja with the ball now. Finds McBurney. McBurney, can he find? Yes, he finds Ming. And for some reason, Ming's decided to go for a shot there. Terrible, terrible decision making from the loanee there. Definitely not going to be buying him. But Grealish, I guess he doesn't have a chance. It's ended 1-1. My assistant says we should tell him it's a good performance, but I really don't think it was a good performance at all. I'm going to tell him I'm not happy. Their morale's not too good, but I have to tell them that I'm not happy because that was not good at all. Richie did win the man of the match, so I have to definitely play him the next game. But yeah, we go down in the table instead of higher up. We're ending up in 14th. We're mid-table now. We really need to start getting on a winning run. Every time we seem to win, we seem to trip up. We win here, we draw. We win, we lose. We win, we draw. So not pleasing at all. And this run of games over here has just been horrible. I think we can do it. I still think we can end up in at least 6th place. But yeah, the players just really need to start stepping up now. In terms of when we'll be back, I might do, a bit of an FA Cup run, but we're playing against Burnley, who are a Premier League side, so we're not really expecting much. Probably won't do it. Might do the game against Wolves because they are our rivals. If not, maybe the game against Newcastle and Derby, we could do a double header there. But anyways, I'll just keep you guys updated. That'll be all for today. As always, if you like this episode, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, that's all. Thanks, guys.